Stoa is a digital campfire where we cohere in dialogue about what matters most at the knife's edge of what's happening now.
Welcome to the Stoa. The Stoa is a place where we cohere in dialogue, talking about what matters most at the knife's edge of what is happening now. So welcome to the Vulvantine Day Party, hosting it here with Lara, my collaborator on our anatomy project, and Peter, of course. So welcome all. I always get a little breathy when I start these things, so I'm just going to let myself breathe for a moment. Whew. I invite you all to do the same. Give your heart a little rub if you like, and whew, breathe. Because today we will be exploring the wild art that is the vulva. And as a beginning point, I'd like to call in the protector of the heart, because this is a wild landscape, a wild bodyscape that we are delving into today. And so I ask you to feel into your heart and also to feel into the field of collective presencing. I really feel like our last session, Collective Eros, was really standing on the shoulders of that practice, of that heart-centered communication between people across distance. And so I invoke that field, and I invite you to help me invoke it by dropping some things in the chat that you really love about collective presencing, or if you've never experienced collective presencing, well, we invite you to do so. And it's a heart circle. So drop into the chat something you like about circling with other human beings and opening your hearts together. And as that's happening, I will offer a dedication into the space. I dedicate this time to vulvas, and I invoke alliance and allyship in this process. Whatever happens here, we are in alliance. And I also invoke the quality of mind-bending beauty is what we're bringing in today. Celebration, friendship, and curiosity. So why are we doing this? This is something that I would like to share a little bit about. Lara and I were speaking with Peter, and he was wondering what our anatomy project could bring to the Stoa. And our anatomy project teaches and learns about sexuality through art and storytelling. And we do this in an embodied relational way. So we thought to bring something embodied and relational, something that invokes eros, something that explores the taboo and exiled parts of ourselves. So we'll take the pleasure of doing that today with the vulva. Let's see, what else? I guess I'll share a little bit of a map of where we're going today. We're going to be offering some embodiment exercises, invocations, initiations, and we'll be rippling in and out of breakout rooms. So you'll find yourself with a few other people and then find yourself with a lot of other people at the end for a bit to drop in deep. So what you will need You will need water. If you do not have water, please go get it. A glass of water. Yay, I see some water peeking out there. And we're going to invite you to move around in your space. So anything you want to do right now to arrange your space so that you can get out of your chair, stand up, sit down, lie down, get upside down, whatever you can make available to yourself, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen, and something will happen. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? Oh, we are recording this session. We are recording on speaker view. So we're just recording it so that we can offer it back to folks on YouTube. So your pictures will not be shown. Your voices will not be shared. The breakout rooms will not be recorded. So it'll basically be me and Lara, and maybe Peter will get a few words in there too. So you might be wondering, what is Vulvantine's Day? Why Vulvantine's Day? And the truth is, in many medical contexts, educational contexts, just in many household contexts, in many bedroom contexts, the vulva is not known. Like, doctors don't use this word. Everyone's like, vagina, vagina, vagina. And I know we played a song about vaginas. It was just too tempting. And the vagina is important too, believe me. And so we wanted to give a day of reverence and celebration to the vulva. We wanted to put the vulva on the map, because truth be told, it is left out, and a very important piece of ourselves. We are all very familiar with it. We all came through this threshold, this initiatory presence. So I'm going to turn it over to Lara to speak a little bit more about that.
Thanks, Jote. So good to see everyone. Thanks for being here. So I just want to be clear what the vulva is to start with, because many of you might not even know, even if you have a vulva. I teach sexuality education. One of my courses is called Radically Redefining Sex, and we have very intelligent, embodied, wise, worldly people, and particularly mostly women, that take these classes. And this summer I was teaching a class to, and there was a woman in the class who has at least one, I think she has a PhD in psychology. I taught her pregnancy yoga a million years ago when I used to do that. So she had studied with me before, and she's had babies and done a lot of yoga and embodiment work. Again, brilliant person. And when I taught the section on anatomy, she's like, how come I've never heard the word vulva? How come I didn't know about vulva until now, in her early 40s, late 30s. So the vulva, oh, I should have brought my vulva puppet. Oh, well. The vulva is the outer part of the female genitalia. And the vagina is only the passage between the vulva and the uterus. And the vagina is this like possible passageway. And so the vulva describes all of the external parts, and embedded in those layers are the arousable, engorgeable parts, the pleasurable parts. And for some reason, or many reasons perhaps, the vulva has been disappeared from our psyches, from our culture, along with many aspects of our arousable parts, many aspects of the clitoris. And there's kind of two ways to look at this. One is that our cultural lens, what we're looking through, places a filter on what we see and how we make meaning. And in a world that has been, you know, dominated by kind of male thought, male bodies, all of our structures and our understanding of how bodies work and what they are has been through this male perspective. Some obvious things about vulvas get lost. The kind of other side of the coin on that is that what we don't know, what we don't have a map for, we can't be in relationship with. So just a couple historical points, and there's many in terms of what happened to female anatomy. When I say female, I'm talking about specifically sex. I'm not talking about gender. I'm just like breaking it down into simple sex. And it's also not that simple, but just for clarity purpose. And, you know, many vulva owners use different words than vulva. But this is a Vulvantine Day party, so that's the word we're going to use today. So with the dawn of agriculture, women's reproduction became economy, right? So my sense is this is when sex started to become sex, and reproduction kind of started to have this layer of transaction because families, children were needed to run the farm, to, you know, to run the household. And so women's reproduction became like a commodity, and their children became a commodity. And in this, you know, sex and pleasure started to move away from each other, where sex, like, and then there's also the moral aspects that started to come in with religion, etc., where sex for reproduction was okay, but sex for pleasure became taboo. And now we can like fast forward through history. I mean, all throughout history, there's been this sort of pathologizing of the female state, really, right? So hysteria goes back into Egyptian and Roman and Greek times. This idea of, well, originally like the wandering uterus, something being wrong with a woman because of her uterus, and then that turned into diagnoses around mental health, etc. And then fast forward to today in the medical model. Actually, I want to say one more thing about some of the reasons we don't know about female bodies is that originally it was really seen as taboo to dissect women's bodies. So dissections, when they were originally like mapping anatomy, dissections weren't done on women. And then when we do dissections, we're doing them on deceased bodies, and you can't learn about arousal on deceased bodies. It doesn't work. And today, there's just very little money invested into research on women's reproductive health and sexuality. And part of the reason is that nobody's able to find like the female Viagra. Nobody's able to find the thing that will, other than the pill, right, that will, you know, be a commodity for women. And speaking of the pill, so in today's medical model, when a woman has any kind of issue, I've worked with women from like pelvic pain to bad period cramps to low libido, you know, the whole gamut of sexuality and reproductive issues. There's two options given by the medical model. One is hysterectomy, which is to remove the uterus and sometimes also the uterine tubes and ovaries. And then the other is to basically shut down the biophysiological, biochemical functioning through chemicals, through the pill. So those are two. So the pill shuts everything down chemically, and then the other thing is just to remove it. So one reason, to bring the vulva back online and the clitoris back online and pleasure back online, one is, for basic health and well-being. But then there's this whole other realm of pleasure, of embodied pleasure, and what that offers us. As people in the research, I'm not going to say too much about this because the invitation is for you all to start to think about, like, well, what are we missing? What can we learn by bringing these physiological parts of us back into our culture, back into our psyches? But I will say just a little bit about the research I've done with the students that I've worked with. And what they have said again and again about pleasure is that when they start attuning to their pleasure, they all of a sudden connect to their agency in a new way. They have this new understanding of boundaries and how to express their boundaries. They're able to connect more to their truth. Their relationships improve, the communication in the relationships improve, because they have a sense of what they need, what they want, and also how to voice it. So there's this whole sort of cascade of effects for people when they start to tune into pleasure. So I'll leave that. Those are just some seeds, and I'll leave it there for now.
Thanks, Lara. It's a lot, huh? Can you feel that in your body? Like the allotness of that? It's a lot. And I will just share that I come from a line of witches who were burned around all of this. So, and in the midst of all of this coming into the way it is today. And so I would like to offer, for those who feel strong enough, an initiation today. And so I invite you to turn on your cameras. If you can, I invite you to turn on your cameras. And this is going to be a moment where we're going to really bring the energy up. We're going to bring on spiritedness, the aliveness, the bloodfulness of our bodies. We're really going to bring in that protector of the heart, the protector that the heart is, the heart as a protector. So I would like to invite you to stand up, even if you can, if you feel called to stand up and feel yourself, your feet on the ground. Feel yourself connected to the earth. Yeah. Opening the soles of the feet, letting the energy course down. And I invite you to place your hand on your heart. Oh, and turn on your mics, please. I invite you to turn on your mics. Thank you. So let's just start out here by putting our hands on the chest and just starting to make a sound, like a humming sound. Feel the vibrations through your chest, through your heart. So you can stay there, feeling into that heart center. And I recently became aware of a word called tumos. And this is a Greek word that Peter actually made me very aware of. And this is a Greek word that talks of aliveness, of spiritedness, of bloodfulness. And it speaks of the heart center as a place where the spirit, which is viewed more like a biological thing, like this bloodful aliveness that we can feel in our bodies, meets with the soul. And as the story goes, when your tumos takes flight, that is when you feel eros. So the Greeks think of it as a chariot taking off. So it's got the horses and the sun and the aliveness. So we're going to do a little tapping at this center. And this has been called the tumos thump. And here it's like, you know, you can move it into even 2 hands, but just thumping and breathing. And it's like a gorilla beating its chest, like you can make them sounds. Feel your voice, get the blood up. And I invite you to go all the way around your whole heart center, not just on one side or the other, not limiting yourself to your biological heart. Get your voice warmed up. We're gonna go for 60 more seconds here. Make the most out of it. Okay, now just let yourself stand, sit, be however you are for a moment. Feeling any differences you might feel in your body. Feeling any samenesses you might feel in your body. So we're getting ready to use our voices in an initiatory practice. So I'm going to tell you what it is first. It's very simple and very deep. It's a deep portal I'm inviting you into. We are going to, for those who feel strong enough, to repeat the word vulva for the next 60 seconds, over and over and over and over again. So please, if you can, turn on your mic, because we're going to create a vulva chorus here. We're going to we're going to involve the magic of the vulva, and we're going to invite it to grace our vocal cords. Okay, ready? Okay, so we're gonna begin. I'm just doing a little shakeout because that's how I feel. I invite you to move around in any way that is fitting for you to receive this initiation. And we are ready to begin. So for the next 60 seconds, we're going to say vulva, 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 vulva. Okay, last couple seconds. Get it in there. Get it in there. 10. Okay, thank you. Any last vulvas? Get them in now. And allow yourself to come back to the pumpkin space that you're now in. Feeling the body. Where is your energy moving? What's alive? Thank you.
So I'll invite you to mute again, but you can, going to invite you to continue to explore your space. And I love this. I love meta layers of sharing. And so we just kind of went on like, so arousal happens in waves, right? Where we get activated and kind of relaxed and activated and relaxed. We just did like an activating wave. And now we're going to bring it down a little. So I invite you to, again, feel your feet on the earth. And if you can kind of get up and massage your feet or massage the earth with your feet. And remember, or if you're sitting, really feel what's underneath your feet and your legs. So grounding some of that thumos, connecting it to the earth. And then looking around your space with your eyes, in your head, bringing in your curiosity. What do you like about the space that you're in? Is there something that feels nourishing or pleasurable? Is there something you want to rest into, be supported by? And then invite you into some self-touch, and you might rub your hands together a little bit to create some heat. And can play with either just kind of doing energetic touch. So this place where you hover your hand over your skin and feel that kind of maybe the skin longing for your touch. You feel that kind of energetic touch, the heat, or if it feels better, really bringing your hands firmly to your body. And you can keep orienting to your space how you'd like. You don't have to orient to the screen right now. You can give your eyes a break. Maybe there's something outside that's pleasing to look at. And then through any of your senses, so it could be a sound you tune into, a smell, it could be your touch, it could be something you take in through your eyes, beginning to orient to something that is pleasing to you or pleasurable. And starting to just let yourself take in, like you're drinking in, whether it's through your skin, through your eyes, through your ears, drinking in that pleasure. You can also bring in your imagination. And then checking in with your body. How do you know that that is pleasurable? What are the signals in your body that tell you you're feeling pleasure? It's not necessarily an easy question, so nothing comes right away. Just let that question be with you, live in you, stay with you as a curiosity. Notice as you take in pleasure, is there something that changes? Is there a signal that says, I like this? can think of this as finding the yes in your body. Mm. And invite Jote to bring us to the water.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. There's no rush right now. So in a time that feels good to you, find your water, find that vessel and bring it in front of you. And I invite you to let it sit in front of you a bit. Don't touch the vessel right now, not quite yet. We'll give everyone a chance to get a little situated. And so with this water in front of you, we are going to today tune into the pleasure of our waters. So being here with this vessel of water and feeling the waters of your body, feeling into the roundness of your body, and feeling into the underside of all the shapes of your body, your lower lip, your chin, your elbows, bottoms of your feet, the under curve of your butt, all the curves of your genitals. Just feeling all the places where the water pools in your body. Excuse me. Like your earlobes, your eyeballs. Just tuning into that roundness. You can even touch your body and feel it from both sides. I don't want you to, but I'm going to drink a little water just to clear my throat a bit. So in our last session, we really dove into the idea and the experience that water is attracted to itself. So I invite you to feel the attraction that we as humans have to water. How the water in our body is magnetized toward the waters of the world through thirst, through longing, through pleasure. So I invite you to slow way down with all of this. Really feel. In many cultures, water is used to bless. Water is used to offer energy to the spirits, to the ancestors, to those who are here now, to those who will come. So I invite you to feel into this water in front of you as a blessing, as a tool for blessing, and even more basically as a blessing. Allow yourself to dip into the gratitude that you have for water. And so I invite you to imagine what it might be like to, I invite you to imagine what it might be like to dip your finger into this water. Without doing it, just imagine. What might it be like to dip your finger into this water? And then being really slowed down, I invite you to imagine what you might do with this water, how you might bless. I'm just going to give a little structure of how to offer water. It was shared with me the Paiute tribe. Offering water by flicking. So yeah, just inviting you to slowly pick up some water. And as your finger dips into the water, what might you see, hear, feel, taste, smell, like all sensations being online? And just let your finger stir around in there a little bit. Let your finger feel into the water. I'm going to invite you to just offer water, and offer water with your, don't offer it to your computer though. This is a mistake I've made before. Offer it to those who have come before, those who are here now, and those who will come. This is a really common frame for offering water. Many African diaspora traditions offer water by pouring in this way, pouring into plants, pouring onto the earth. And offer some water to yourself. Anoint yourself with this water. Just feel what it feels like to offer yourself water. Where might you offer it? Where might your body need healing? Where might you want to give yourself a blessing? Elders from the Andes teach that if we can rebalance the waters on Earth, great healing will come to the planet. One of the technologies they offer for rebalancing the waters of the earth and healing the waters of the earth is offering our waters to the earth, offering the waters of our bodies, offering our menstrual blood, offering our waters of orgasm, offering our tears, anointing the earth with the water that comes through us as a prayer. So this is a magical act, being with water. So I invite you to, as you're ready, take a sip. Take a sip of this medicine, this solvent. It's life-affirming presence. Well, what I'm supposed to do now is let you know a little bit about our anatomy project that Lara and I are stewarding. And the thing that's coming to me now about it is that we are really stewarding this as a magical act. We are creating images and sharing stories as symbols of what we want to create in the world. And what is that? It's a world where eros flows freely. Is one of the things we're after. And also a world where people can find the education about their bodies. They can be body literate. They can know about their bodies, and where we can approach this study of our bodies as an ongoing lifelong learning. So we're creating images, and I feel like when I get in the water space, I go kind of deep, so please, I'm gonna put the water aside a little bit here. So I guess one of the things that we want to share, it's like there's a couple levels our anatomy project functions on. One is we're creating these images to talk about anatomy, talk about the anatomy of arousal, and all of the images that we create are connected to real people. They're images of real people with real stories. And our goal is to create this imagery that can be used to teach and learn about human sexuality alongside the stories from which it came. A lot of what happens in modern anatomy is that we have all these like drawings that are like red, blue, yellow, and they're completely anonymous. We don't know what that body's story was, even in books where we see pictures of cadavers that have been cut open to show various things. We have no idea about the context from which they came. So that we feel like, especially with the subject matter that we're dealing with, story is so important and story is so affirming. So that said, that's one level. And then another level wider, I guess, than that is we are doing this as a social experiment. So we have been so far working together on this, and we're at the point where we're starting to call together a research team. And we want this research team to be filled with people who are dedicating their lives to sexual education, to somatics, to transformative justice. And so we're inviting a group of people together who come from different experiences, different backgrounds, where we intend to come together and really dig into that like raw energy that comes from difference, and bring us together to create a pedagogy that will blow our own minds open, because sexuality is such a emergent thing that we hope to learn something about emergent intelligence, group intelligence, how to create something together that we don't know what it is exactly, because we have ideas about what it might be, but like I said, sexuality is so emergent and changing all the time that it's a really good roadmap. This is the theory that we're holding, at least. Could be a good roadmap to teach us how to come together with multiple forms of intelligence and create something that is the next best step, at least. So that's what I'll say about that for now, and I will put some links in the chat where you can find out more about our project. And also, geez, I can't believe I forgot about this until now. For Vulvantine's Day, we are offering a gift to everyone, a gift of Vulvantines, which are, when you were in school, did you ever have those like little Valentines that had a little funny saying on it that it was kind of a pun, and you're like, to so-and-so from so-and-so, and you put it in their little envelope. And anyway, we are doing a digital form of that. And so if you go to our website, there's a button that says order your Vulvantine. And at this point, it's a little late in the game. We'll still get it out to you, but it may not be today. So, and I guess another like interesting reason for making Valentine's Day into Vulvantines Day, other than all the reasons that we've given you so far, is that I did a little research, and Valentine's Day was named Valentine's Day because two men named Valentine were both executed on February 14th by the Roman Empire. And so for me, changing this name is an act of decolonization, especially since it's around our bodies, which are Earth. So rest in peace, Valentine, and bring on Vulvantines Day, is what I say. So there you go. Check us out. Get your Vulvantine, send it to a friend, send it to a lover, send it to your mom, I'll turn it over to you, Lara.
Yeah, I'm noticing that we're doing really well on time. So I don't know. I guess we could chat about that during the breakout rooms. Might be able to do some more things. Okay. So I get to show you some of what we've been up to and give you a mini anatomy lesson. So I will share my screen. And I guess I'll start briefly with this one. This is kind of our main, here's that, not, I don't take responsibility for any of the art. So when I say like all of the art is Jote's, I'm just the anatomy geek and the muse, but the art is all Jote. And Jote is creating this art in watercolor with watercolor and pen. And so we'll come back to this image in a moment to let you take it in again, but this image is all of the things, all of the parts. It's all of the erectile network. It includes the vulva and the reproductive organs. Yeah. Actually, I will tell you a little, I'll explain this and then I'll let you take it in again in a few minutes. Actually, I want to go to this next slide first. So the thing that's interesting is that, you know, there's all this debate around certain things about female body arousal and, you know, is there a G-spot? Is there not a G-spot? What's the clitoris? What's not the clitoris? Like still there's debate around this. But the thing is that we know is that all organs, and particularly organs, our sex organs, all start the same in utero. So this top picture is how they all begin. And then through the process of development, of fetal development, they start to, and when there's a chemical cascade and hormones start to come in, they start to differentiate to various degrees, right? And one that, you know, becomes a male version, one that becomes a female version, and then of course there's versions that are combined. Intersex versions are also possible. But in this bottom picture, this is not showing the erectile network or erectile tissue, which is the arousable parts, the parts that feel good, because anatomy books don't show those parts. So that's part of what we're doing in our project. But I like this because you can really see the mirror images of what we call the reproductive organs, same exact thing for erectile tissue. So one of my favorite sex educators, Emily Nagoski, always says over and over again in her book, Come As You Are, is that we all have the same parts organized in different ways. So let's show you the clitoris. So this is, we could call all of this the clitoris. Some people are just calling all of the erectile tissue the clitoris. And then we can also break it down into different names, but essentially the entire base of the pelvic floor. So I don't even like the term pelvic floor, but the base of the pelvis, in between the muscular layers lives all of this erectile tissue. So this is like, if you're looking at someone spread eagle, like laying back, this is kind of what you'd see. The sit bones are kind of at the base of these bulbs. The tailbone would be behind this darker tissue there. And you can really see the homologue in the next image. So this is a clitoris at rest, or erectile network at rest. And this is a fully engorged, fully aroused clitoris. And so you can just really see the resemblance, how it's not so different, right, than what we think of with people with penises. So coming back to this image, I want to invite you to be with it in the way that we were just with the water, to just sort of take it in, soften your vision, see if you can take it in through more of you than just your eyes. Take it in through your heart, take it in through your hara, your low belly. Maybe you take it in through your root. Just noticing what's conjured. Do you have other images being conjured? Do you have sensations that are being conjured here? Do you take this in? Are there curiosities, questions, or insights? And then just bringing what is stirring in you now, we'll bring that into breakout rooms and just to share what's coming alive in your thumos, with your thumos, with this image. So we'll go into trios for, I think, just 10 minutes. So just have a few minutes to share, just, in this kind of relaxed, collective presencing style, just what's alive for you, what has been conjured so far.
All right, so I'm gonna put people in rooms right now. If you have to go, might be a good time to go right now, so we can get even numbers in the group.